this possible upcoming breakout region. I mean, the S&P 500, we are very close to that 200-day moving average. And when we take a look at the 200-day, the S&P 500, we are also at a point where if we start breaking this downtrend of 2022, do you guys think that that's it? We start breaking through this downtrend of 2022. We topped out all the way back in January. We topped out all the way back in March. We are coming on up towards where we were at in August. We break through 411. Is it sky high from there? No resistance, no indicators, nothing's going to hurt us. So, current thoughts right here. I mean, we could start with Kush. What are you thinking, boss?
Oh, well, like I said in the last roundtable, I think I'm going to stick to my number of new yearly lows of 332, if it even touches that. But as of right now, I don't think it's going to go anything below that personally. I mean, we only have about I think 30 or 29 trading days left of the whole year. So, I think as of right now, I might consolidate for a little bit. And, with that being said as well, we're going to the month with the lowest amount of volume, most amount of holidays off, December. So we're finishing up November, going to December. I think we only got about 30 trading days as well. So I think we're going to hold above for sure that 370, maybe touch 370 and bounce off support. But I don't think we're going anything lower than 350 for the rest of the year. That's just my analysis on that.
How are you trading right now? Is there any current strategies? Same strategy, even with the S&P 500 moving on up. Maybe again you see a little bit more bullishness. Is there anything that you would be doing differently at this time than let's say you were doing over the summer? Because we are on this nice little bull rally. This bull rally is something that we saw earlier in the spring, and now we kind of have our next bull rally that we have at this moment, going into the end of the year, starting to look very bullish. Are you trading your strategy differently at all? Is there anything that you would want traders to be aware of right now?
Well, I have personally sized down. Just recently there's been a lot of news, PPI, CPI, FOMC. So I've just sized down. Normally November, December I size down, and September, October I size up, as those are the most volatile months in the year. And recently Tesla's just been acting pretty wiki, and I've added the open range breakout strategy, which is just everyone's loving it so far, and it's been killing it. And we will get to make a trade pretty early, and some days it's like 50% gain, 30% gain, so it's really nice. But overall, I've just sized down. Don't really want to give up my whole profits for the year or anything like that. And just each day this past week, you just had less and less patience with Tesla as it just chops around. But yeah, just sizing down is what I'd recommend for a lot of traders, just so they don't blow their profits for the year.
Do you usually play that Santa Claus rally? December, end of the year, people trying to get their final profits in. Is that something you still just say, hey, I want to take a little bit of a step back? Because what I've seen a lot of times is I do see a lot of volume at the very end of the year. It's kind of tricky. We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, we have New Year's, and we have off for these holiday days, but it's also everyone's trying to finish off the year at the best note, and then everyone's also trying to start the year at the best note. So I feel like depending on your risk tolerance or what type of trader you are, it does come down to, do you want to be trading big at the end of the year and possibly risk, of course, giving away some profits, or trade big at the end of the year and try to finish off with the best gains you can? But I guess it would really come down to, your current strategy and, your current, possible risk tolerance. But for you just said you're taking it easy maybe the last month or so, making sure you're finishing off the year in the green.
For sure. So, I do catch a little bit of that rally, but I just size down at the end of the year and kind of go for those high percentage plays. So it'd be the equivalent to me just going in big, taking small percentage gains. So I just like to go a little bit lighter. And yeah, I like to, it is the time, where a lot of people are spending time with their family. Banks are off, hedge funds are off. My quant fund is off the entire November, December. We're not really doing anything. No one's going to the office or anything like that. So, just with that being said, I'm kind of planning the stuff out that I want to do next year, planning my position sizes, my trades, just reviewing all of this year's trades, and then using that information next year. That way I can, level up and do better.
AK, what do you got for us, buddy?
Well, if you do remember last time, I pulled up my chart, which I'm glad. I love this. You brought that up. Remember last time, I was the one that said I was going to be like the angel's advocate, kind of the devil's advocate, saying, hey, if we break this downtrend in that 200-day moving average, we won't be coming back. We won't see new lows. And so I brought this up last time. And so now that we're getting closer, I'm still on board with that. If we break 410, we see essentially those the moving average in the downtrend area. You know, we're through the 410s and 420. I'm with Kush essentially saying if we do see a pullback, I mean, I'm thinking it may go to Cush's area, but I'm thinking it will just get to what we saw below, essentially that 350 area, because we'll be up so high. You think about how far, and I was kind of doing the math yesterday. Yeah, we've seen us pull back 50, $60 in a certain amount of time period. I just think that if we get through that downtrend overall, because again, I know what I've seen over the last few years trading. It's not been that long, but like you taught me this overall. Almost this psychological trader you used to talk about so much, and you still do, the psychological side of traders and what we think mentally, just as humans, right? Most of us want to see green and want to see stocks go up. I mean, as much as I love the shorting, not a lot of people out there love to see tank. We want to see out of the recession, and stocks going north, not really south. And yes, I think a lot of us smarter people, and I say smarter, but people that think long-term would go, hey, but if we go down to 300 or 320 or 330, you know, imagine the money you're going to make long-term. I just don't think the overall mental side of people want that really in the end. They'd rather it go up. So I just think if we get over that, yeah, we only see so much of a pullback, and it'll only get to say, it might get to Cush's area. I doubt it gets to say that 320 area below, but we'll see. Well, I'm just saying that, yes, if it gets over the downtrend, the 2-day moving average, sees 420, I don't think we get back below the 350-ish area. So
yeah, no, I think once we start getting back above 400, I mean, 400 is a huge area, and it's really kind of close to, not exactly, but it's definitely close to that middle area where essentially, you know, we were at 480, we fell on down towards around 348, and once you get back above 400, you know, as AK was saying, it's a very tough psychological number to kind of give back. You know, once you get above 400, that's a very tough thing to do. And as you know, with penny stocks, we talk about getting above $1, getting above $10. It's very hard to go from the single digits to double digits, and it's very tough to get above 400. Just like when we take a look at the past of the, let's say, last 4 days now, right? We go and we take a look at a 15-minute time frame. We come up to 400 once, twice, break it for a second, can't hold it 3-4 times, and now it's starting to come back on down. Getting above 400, that is a move along itself, and that's why I think we may have 1 or 2 more red days coming on up before that actual break of 400. But when we do get above 400, I think as hard as it is to get above 400, I think it's going to be just as hard as it is to fall back underneath 400. So that's why I'm really leaning towards it could still easily go up towards that upside.
Definitely agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you definitely overall. So we'll see. I mean, we've seen crazier stuff. I say crazier, but I mean, after 2020 overall in the year, and then after GameStop and AMC, and I know a lot of it was Reddit, blah, blah, blah. After you see that, I remember you were saying, roll back out the window, right? Where sometimes you're just like, oh, okay, we've seen it all. So that's where I'd say, okay, maybe there is still a chance we could still see some crazy pullback, but overall, I'd give it a high percentage chance that you get through all that area. It's not going to get back down to new lows overall, or if it does, it just barely clips new lows.
Mm-hmm. What about Alex Vaughn? What are your thoughts? I think your mic is muted as well. A little heads up. There you go.
Yep, go ahead, unmute myself. Well, I think overall the economy is still really shaky. Liquidity is drying up. Hedge funds, banks are scrambling. They're trying to sell their equities in order to maintain margin requirements. Mainstream media is going to work, putting out doom and gloom articles, as well as, you know, trying to pump things. So it's like a different message every other day. So the psychological warfare is definitely, an aspect. You know, we've watched inflation numbers going up, gas and grocery prices going up, interest rates skyrocketing, housing crisis, NATO tensions, Ukraine war, China, Taiwan. On Monday, UK announced an official recession. Canada's facing a housing crisis. And, you know, they're saying that the Fed's going to engineer a soft landing. You know, like I'm not one to put out like doom and gloom, but I'm still sticking with my original opinion that we are going to see sub 300 levels on the SPY within the next 6 to 8 months. So that's what I'm thinking. But, I've been wrong many times before. So that's just my personal opinion.
That's a strong pullback. I mean, I know you say you don't want to sound like it, but it sounds like you think the world's coming to an end. You know, you're saying to yourself, hey, sub 300s, that is a pullback. And it's just what you think everything. I mean, you're bringing up all these very valid points, but do you think that the United States is just, let's say, not reporting a lot of this stuff? Do you think that people are reporting it, but people are just blind to it or ignorant to it, don't want to believe it? Do you think there's going to be a breaking point that all of a sudden the market just goes straight on down? I mean, even in this day and age, I feel like there are so many things that, yes, are wrong, but I feel like the Federal Reserve would just make something up to just keep stability in the market. I feel like there's been a lot of times that the markets could have crashed farther and dropped in harder, and maybe again we put something out there to build stability, even though maybe it's not for the long term. It just makes investors feel happy at the current moment. So what are your current thoughts on just the United States still holding things on up, or it just too many lies maybe somewhere along the lines?
That's a good point, Sean, and I think the Fed has done a really good job of kind of putting out cushy messages and wish-washy information on their trajectory of the economy. I mean, a year ago we were in transitory inflation, and then all of a sudden we weren't in transitory inflation. And I mean, there's a lot of different aspects, but the big thing is that they're all kind of culminating at the same time, which we haven't seen in our lifetime. We've been through 2 financial crises. We've been through 9/11. We've been through a 100-year plague. We've been through, natural disasters, but we haven't seen like so many different odd things kind of culminate at the same time. And I think that there's a lot of transparency that's kind of coming to the market. I think retail investors are getting a little bit more keen on, the tricks of the trade, especially with the whole GameStop saga and the short, positions that were synthetic. And, the whole FTX thing, if you've read into that, with, Sam Bankman-Fried, basically doing a $30 billion Ponzi scheme, just, escaping to the Bahamas in the last week. I mean, there's just a lot of crap that's kind of just happening all at once. And, I don't think the Fed can keep, putting out these happy messages forever, especially, when we're still seeing, a lot of doom and gloom and with the overall trajectory of the economy. But that's just my opinion.
No, I definitely, I see. The thing is, I agree with your opinion, but then there's also things that, it's not even like I can disagree with your opinion. I agree with the fact that you're saying that there is doom and gloom, but it's also, I feel like, a lot of the times, when there's traders that are constantly getting involved in the market and looking, where's the market going to be heading? I feel like we're constantly surrounding ourselves as well, though, by so much negativity. It's like it would be like if we watched the news every single day nonstop. I feel like you would just be like, wow, the world is falling apart. Wow, the world is burning. So let me ask you this question. Have you looked into any other thing maybe on the positive side where you'd be like, oh, this would actually help the market. This would actually bring things on up. Or are you just saying, honestly, I don't see too much positive. I like, maybe interest rates coming on down. Maybe, again, inflation coming on down. In your eyes, would that still be helpful, or is there still just too much negative behind that to be able to help? Or is it just want to see, your thoughts on it? Because I know, again, you do so much research, but the way I think about it as well is if sometimes I do so much research, I kind of fall into like that rabbit hole of being like, wow, everything is going to collapse. But then when I take a step back and try to overview everything, I'm like, hey, is it really as bad as I think it is, in that moment? So, I mean, do you think inflation or interest rates could be able to help, bring up the markets or keep them at least stable at this time?
I think that the Fed is doing the best they can to try to keep us between, 380 and 400, until they can kind of soften the inflation and kind of bring down interest rates. They're trying to ride out this housing situation as well. From my opinion, they could potentially drag it out, kick the can like they've done. But if you look at the overall market, I mean, after COVID, dude, we just skyrocketed. I mean, they pumped out, $19 trillion of liquidity into the retail space, and people just threw it into the market, and, everything just blasted off. And we haven't had a healthy, strong pullback in, a number of years other than COVID. So, I just think it was almost like, a black swan event that the market got as high as it did. And I'm not saying that it won't get back to where it was. I just think that we're due for a strong pullback. So that's just what I'm thinking.
No, I like it. Just Kush, really quick question for you, buddy. What do you think about this whole crypto market at this moment?
I want it to. I say I want it to, but I don't know if it will. I want it to go to the $10,000 to $12,000 range. I personally liquidated at like about 55,000. Right, my entry price was about 8,000. So
that was your entry, 8,000.
Entry was 8,000. I sold everything at 55. So I'm good till there. I didn't touch it at all. And as of right now, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to go about to the $10,000 to $12,000 range. I'm gonna just wait to see. I'll trim some at like 25, and I'll just hold the rest there. But I definitely see it going to that range. I mean, Binance is doing a freaking awesome job right now with just showing all their statements and everything like that. After, especially what happened with FTX, they realized that, hey, listen, everyone's got to come to us, and we need to show the people that they can trust us. So they're opening all their financials. They're opening their current positions. Their USDC holdings, their USDT holdings, and one of the accountants on the case of FTX is actually a good family friend of mine, and they're just telling me how much of a shit show it actually is, and it's not looking too good, as y'all can tell. But yeah, it's bigger than Enron for sure. That was a massive scandal, and this one's an even larger one.
Let me ask, and any of you guys can answer this question, whoever has thoughts on it, but can you trust cryptocurrency at this point? There's a lot of people who absolutely love it, and there's people who absolutely hate it. And I want this, I'm right in the middle, as in there's times that I love cryptocurrency and I think it could be the absolute future. And there's also times, in 2022 where I say, how legitimate could this be? Do you think the public, the average investor can actually go in with confidence to, let's say, signing up to Coinbase or wanting to invest into Ethereum or one of these other big cryptocurrencies and actually have confidence within it with everything that has happened recently? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I think the big thing, Sean, is regulation. And Gary Gensler, the chairman of SEC, looks really, really bad right now, especially with the whole FTX thing. It's a complete, pardon my French, but it's a shit show there, and they have no idea how to regulate certain crypto facilities and markets and exchanges. So until everything is more regulated, if you're looking at stable coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's a little bit safer. But if you're going for these altcoins and Doge coins and all this other crap, you're just pretty much you're just rolling the dice. You're playing Russian roulette at this point. So for me, I'm staying away from crypto until I see a little bit more effort from the SEC to try to regulate and understand how these markets work and how they can keep track of things so the FTX type situations don't happen again.
No, absolutely. AK, any thoughts? And Mike, we heard you, so you're good. I'll get to you in 1 second, active trader. You're
hear me, okay.
Kush or AK, you guys have any thoughts on the crypto? Can the public actually trade crypto with confidence at this time? Is that possible? Or
I would say now, yeah. Just like AV was saying, not right now. I mean, long term, yeah, it's going to be around, like he was saying, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you want to get into. That's actually your main one, of course. Like you said, the altcoins, they're going to have their runs. If you want to play OTC stocks, right? I mean, essentially that's equivalent to that to me, in my opinion. So if that's what you like getting into, get into that. Otherwise, if you want to play more of a blue chip type of a technically sound mover, where you're going to go to. But yeah, I wouldn't say right now is the time. Me and myself, I've been waiting for even a bigger pullback to get into more of a long-term hold again. That's usually what I do with Bitcoin, get into it for a long-term hold, whether it's 2 or 3 months or longer. But now's not the time, in my opinion.
No, I gotcha. No, I definitely appreciate, all your guys' points. I want to jump over really quickly. Active trader, boss. I see you got your mic working, so that's absolutely awesome. What are your thoughts right now? S&P 500 coming on up, back up towards around that 400. We didn't get your opinion towards it, and I definitely want to get your opinion. So what are your current feelings on this market with only about a month and a half before 2022 heading into 2023?
Well, my thoughts, I think between now and the end of the year, I think we're going to stay pretty stable between 375 and 395. I think there'll be a couple of more touches at 400. But my real feelings are that this reversal coming back up is temporary. You have to realize we started about $479 and this year on the SPY and came down as low as 348. So where are we now? Somewhere in the middle. Now, I thought that the midterms might have had more of an effect, but it didn't even turn out like we thought. Everybody thought to be a red wave, and it really wasn't. The fact that we took over the House, or that the House was taken over by the right, might be a plus, but I don't think that's really having much effect on the markets themselves at this time. I think there's a lot of world turmoil right now. I think the fact that a bomb went off in Poland, which is NATO territory, and just thinking about which administration is in control of the big button is a very, very scary fact this time. Just to listen to Donald Trump last night. Now, I don't know that, I voted for him last time. I don't know that I vote for him this time, honestly. You know what? I like what he stands for, but the question is, will he be able to win again? That's the big key. And who will they put up against him? So the fact is, if you listen to his speech last night and you listen to what he had to talk about the things that needed to be changed, I don't see that this administration, like Joe said, after the midterms, they go, what are you going to change? And he goes, nothing. And the fact is, he's not listening to the people, because half the people made a decision to go one way and they don't recognize half this country. And that's a problem. And I think that eventually there's nothing, as long as the interest rates are continually going up, then inflation is going up. We're headed more towards a recession. I think we're only kidding ourselves. Right now, a lot of people spend for Christmas and in the stores. So we're going to see, we'll find out what the numbers are, whether we spent less this year than we did last year. And I believe those what the numbers will be, because people have less food. They have to make a decision on whether they put heating fuel in their house. You live up north. I don't have to worry about that. But with $700, $800, $900, $1,000 to fill up a tank to get through half a season, people have to decide whether they put on 3 coats or they feed their family, whether they pay for insurance or they feed their family. We've never been through this before. This is the worst that we've really seen in my lifetime. I'm going to be 68 in 2 weeks. I've seen a lot more than most of you, and I've never seen this before. So, no, I think this is temporary. I think, I thought we'd see a lot lower than we did. I'm one of the people who called for 340 originally when you asked the first time, a couple of months back. But you know what? It didn't hit that low, but it got very close. And I think that we're fooling ourselves. Also, with the housing crash, with the housing markets, and it's not just here, it's all over the world. People cannot afford to buy houses. The only people who are buying houses now are investors who have a lot of excess capital. And look at the rents that people have to pay. They can't afford this. So if you look, like I have a daughter-in-law that pays right now over $3,000 for a two bedroom with 4 kids. It's ridiculous. I mean, people cannot afford to live today. So no, I think this is all temporary. I think when January rolls around and we're very, very close to that point, we're going to close our eyes and the new year's going to be here. I think we're going to see a lot worse, and I think these markets are going to drop drastically. So that's my view. And as far as Bitcoin, I wouldn't trust it. I didn't from the beginning, though it went up sky high and Bitcoin went over, 62, what was it, $1,000 a coin. And now it's down to 18, 17, 16. You know what? I don't really follow Bitcoin that much anymore. I did in the beginning. I think some of it will be trusted and some of it will continue to go on and be good. But you know what, like Alex said, the SEC, we can send a man to the moon. We can absolutely regulate Bitcoin. But the question is how they will regulate it, how they will tax it, and whether it will make it favorable to people to be in it. So that's yet to be seen. And pretty much that's the way I see it. I think I think that raising these interest rates to meet inflation is not a great thing. So I think we have to be able to keep these interest rates down. I'd like to see reversals start coming. And that's the only sign that's going to show me that we're not headed into a heavy recession. Every time they put the interest rates up, we're just getting closer and closer to that inevitable.
Awesome. No, absolutely. And I think you brought up a really good point, and I want to hear everyone's opinions on this, is that at this moment, what are the majority of people doing for living situations, with housing and with high rent? For myself, I'm very fortunate and very blessed to be able to own this home. But I know that there are millions and millions and millions of people out there that, number one, can't afford a house, and number two, can't afford rent. So what's the future outlook for this? There's, a lot of people would say, oh, are we ever going to have another 2008? And I don't think we would ever have a 2008. I feel like the only way to honestly solve the housing problem would be able to bring in more supply, be able to have more homes for people to be able to buy. But is that something that's actually viable? Are we actually going to see more homes be built? Is there still supply chain issues happening? Are still supply chain issues still a thing? And because I still feel like costs are extremely high, but I feel like we've also definitely it's been 2 years since the huge, you can't even say the word a lot of times, the issue that we had 2 years ago. Have we been able to find a solution towards that? So just kind of want to hear anyone's thoughts that, has any on, the current housing market with, again, how high houses prices are. What would be the best way to be able to fix that? And are houses going to continue to stay up at these high prices? Or is it the only way is somehow we have to keep building? And since we would have more supply, we would be able to, again, bring housing prices on down. How long would that take? So anyone can take it away.
Well, I have a feeling on what you're talking about. As far as housing, a lot of big construction they work with the banks. So if they have to work with the banks, that means they're going to have to pay a much higher interest rate to borrow money to do large projects. So right now, I think that housing, as far as new housing, has got to slow down until, it's becoming a renter's market at this time and people aren't buying. So I don't think that's even feasible right now until the interest rates come down. Who wants to be stuck in a 7, 8, 9% interest rate for building? It's different for when you go to take a loan to buy a house, but it's a lot different when you borrow money, on a business sense. So I think it's going to slow down.
I agree with Active Trader because we're actually in the real estate space as well. And I'm building a house right now, for example, on 5 acres, and we're fortunate enough to own a construction company. So we have everything at cost, but regardless, like lumber is 100% increase to what it was, steel 60% increase. We got concrete at I think 30 to 40% increase, and just everything is so much more expensive. But at the same time, we're also building, buying, and flipping apartment complexes. So we're seeing those doors get filled really, really fastly as people start to move out of their homes. A lot of people are doing price decreases on their houses as they've stopped selling. Once again, the construction loans, those either hard money lenders or banks have just gone the kind of greedy, right? Into loan sharks a little bit, with hard money lenders charging anywhere from 8 to 12% interest rates, year on year, and they're kind of taking advantage of it right now because at the end of the day, when it comes to the apartment game and building apartment complexes or duplexes or triplexes, there's money to be made. So people are still going to go take those loans, those risk takers, and at the end of the day, we're fortunate to have a set interest rate with hard money lenders. That way, we're not really too mixed into that. But I definitely think the price will come down. Over here in Orlando, Florida, you have 3,000-4,000 square foot houses pushing $800,000-$900,000, where just I think 3-4 years ago those houses would easily be in the 300-400s, right? And literally the average they're building not even a great builder like Pulte Homes, for example. They're starting at $500,000-$600,000 when 10 years ago they were I think at $190,000-$200,000. They should be a fair price of I think $350,000. They're starting at $500,000-$600,000. And it's great for the homeowners that have gained that appreciation. But on the same side, if you were to flip it, potentially pay capital gains if you haven't stayed there for more than 2 years, and go buy another house, you'd actually end up in in a smaller house or just not as good of a value. So those people would have to make that choice if they want to take that gain, move out, maybe move into another property, or is it even really worth taking that gain, on their current residence?
No, I like that. And I actually want to stay with you here, Kush, for just a moment, just because we are talking about kind of the influxes of the stock market and housing. And for those who do not know, Kush also drives a Lamborghini. And I was just curious, have you seen, the car market depreciation maybe in, your cars whatsoever, if you wanted to sell them? I feel like that has happened over the past I would say probably 3 months now. I would say the beginning of spring and summer, we really saw the car market at a high. We saw everything super expensive. But now as we come into almost the start of winter, most people who bought, let's say, in the spring, let's say if you spent $250,000 for a Lamborghini, you're probably selling it for probably 220, maybe 210, maybe 200. What are your thoughts on the car market right now? Normal car market, or even, in your case, the supercar market?
So regarding the supercar market, I mean, like I bought my Huracan in like December of 2018. So I bought it for 210,000 cash, and at a peak it was going for like 310. I mean, we could have made 50% return on it, and we were considering selling it. I mean, I think we actually did list it for like a week with a private broker. But at the end of the day, it's like the prices are so high. Like, what are you going to get, a 488, or like you can't even. Everything is so high that once you sell it, it's like, what do you get? I mean, maybe an Evo.
Hey, most people would be okay with just like a Camry. Okay, maybe drive around a Camry for like 6 months. All right, bud. It's like, not a Camry, anything but that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, essentially, we do see the market falling. I see, my prediction was November for like to start the fall. We've seen it in used car prices. I think by the time March hits, we'll see a pretty nice decrease. I'm planning to get a McLaren 765 LT in March, a couple other cars, Ferrari 488 Pista. So I kind of want to just load up in March. Keep in mind as well that a lot of times during the winter, a lot of people offload their supercars because the majority of the United States is all snowing everywhere, and it's very hard to drive rear-wheel drive supercars. It's not ideal for the weather conditions. So
why you get a Jeep? That's why you get a Jeep. That's why you get a Jeep.
so yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna maybe a Jeep or a G-Wagon, yeah, but
or G-Wagon. I'm down with that. We'll go with the G. I'm good with the G. All right, G63. I'm good with that. All right.
Yeah, so a lot of those guys are actually putting those cars on the market. They kind of really just want to get rid of them, profit or not. But as of right now, we're not really like looking to sell any of our cars. Maybe when market goes back up, we'll sell the Huracan. We have 4 or 5 cars on order anyway, so need to build some garage space.
There you go. Not a bad problem to have.
Yeah.
AK Alex Vaughn, anything on the housing market currently?
I'm actually kind of like I'm looking to actually build the same thing, kind of like Coach. That's awesome. Not now. I do the same thing, kind of like waiting on Bitcoin. Got to wait on that. But yeah, unfortunately, just the time period. We have a couple of houses ourselves. We have one in Dallas, one here. But point being, the main thing, looking to build, and this was the year we were hoping it would happen, and not gonna happen. I'm not paying that interest rate, not paying that lumber cost. That's all my buddies, because always here in that's why we moved back to Arkansas. I've got a little bit of a hookup, but still I'm not. They're like, yeah, you still don't want to pay the hookup price, and I'm like, yeah, I got you. So I'll be waiting until probably. Just like it won't be as bad as 2008 in my opinion, but it'll be to the point where, hey, say 2 years down the line, and I may wait till 2024 now, and that's fine with me. I'm patient. I come back, got that in the stock market now. I'll be Captain Discipline, Captain Patience, PAY. Pays off to be patient and just doing the same thing and building our house. And so if it's 2020, it may be 2020. I'm fine with that. But me, I'm waiting for the best price possible. And then Kush right here, baby boy, right here. Here's what you want to order. It's called a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. That's what you want to get, baby boy, if you do get one.
I might have to get one and wrap your face on it.
Do what?
I might have to get one and wrap the AK-47 branding on it.
I need some more of those. I need some deck guns. They're not as big as decks, but yeah, exactly. I love that. No, do Thanos for me. Just get it purple and put like Thanos on the side. I love that.
I got you. Like the Stradman.
Yeah, Stradman.
It's a wrap.
Just coming down low to a little bit of time right here. What do you guys think? And we'll kind of go through the line right here. What do you think is honestly the best investment at this time? Is the best investment, let's say, a house? Is the best investment in the market? Is the best investment a certain stock in the market? Is the best investment a cryptocurrency? Is the best investment leaving your money in the bank and doing CDs, basically getting some interest off, leaving in a savings? What is the best investment for the average person at this time? Where can someone make money at this moment? Stock market, housing, real estate, asset, high risk. What are we thinking here, boys?
Tradecaster.com.
Not a bad answer right there. I'll take that every single time. But is there anything
besides investing here in the Tradecaster? I'd say that if there's anything you want to start building into, like we talked about last time, Amazon, right? That's my play, but whatever you want to go in long term, I mean, that's about the only thing you can think about. Otherwise, I mean, if you want to go housing, I mean, maybe these guys have a different answer, but to me, my it's just going to be long term, knowing what we're going to get with the SPY, Amazon, Apple, whatever your pick is for long term success. I plan on holding Amazon for 2 or 3 years at least. It's kind of like waiting to buy the house and they're building the house, same thing. So that'll be something I'm holding, and maybe even longer. I'll tell people that maybe it's something that's on my. Because it's my original, it's my Roth IRA that I had from back in the day when I had a 9-to-5, right? And I've added more to it, and then that's where I put my Amazon into, and so that's kind of point being could be my retirement fund eventually, where I'm holding it 20 years from now, 30 years from now, who knows? Where I'm like, I was in it, Sonny, at 79.82. Yes, that's right. Maybe me eventually down the line, but that's me. Just find something that works best for you too. Don't go outside your comfort zone. All my friends are into the housing and real estate, and then you don't really know much about it, and you're just going to jump into it when you feel more comfortable with something else. Find that something that you're comfortable with and invest in that.
I agree with AK right there. I'd probably say the best investment right now is kind of like those long-term stocks. Mark Zuckerberg's network was like 144 billion like last year. Now it's I think 30 or 40 billion. So definitely invest in Facebook. They're the guys that own Instagram, Metaverse. I mean, if it even takes off, like Metaverse, it will end up pumping. And if you just look at the historical dips, everything ends up going back up. But one of the second investments, I probably wouldn't invest in real estate right now. But the thing is, now is a great time to learn about all those things, right? While everything is happening, and it's not the best time to invest. Learn as much as you can regarding real estate, regarding the stock market. You can stay cash and learn, and then once you learn enough, when it's the perfect opportunity to buy, you have all the knowledge and you can match your money with the knowledge and literally grow like 10x. So and regarding like any businesses or anything like that, or if someone wants to start a business, I'd recommend getting into recession proof, because if we were to get into a recession, your business would then be okay. So just look into those recession proof businesses, study as much as you can right now and stay cash heavy. And then, when the right opportunity plays out, then, you can succeed.
Alex?
There's nothing much else to say. I would say, any mega cap blue chip stock, if you're going to hold it for 5-10 years, you can't go wrong. Right now markets are low. They're going to go lower in my opinion, but if you're going to hold something long term, go with, the safe ones, the companies that aren't going away, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla. I think there's a lot of room for them to rebound. So that, and I've also been collecting Beanie Babies. I think those are going to make a comeback sometime.
Active trader, you're in Juan Trades second right here. You got less than a minute. Give us the final thoughts here, buddy.
My final thought I put on the board. Right now, I think you need to wait about 4 months. Wait until after the new year. I think if you have money to invest, I'm a little too old for long-term investments at this point. But if I was, and I was 20 years younger, Tesla, Facebook, Meta, and Amazon would be my 3 best bets for long-term on stocks, and stay away from crypto.
What are your guys' thoughts on Pokemon? I guess not very good. All right. And it is over there. So that is awesome. Shout out to them. They are absolutely incredible. Yeah, save the best one for last. And hey, thank you so much for all those guys, tuning in today. We'd love to get those traders. And of course, being here over on tradecaster.com, you guys can be able to view their live streams and be able to watch them. I'm live streaming at this moment. AK47's live streaming. And then we have the Stock Don, we have Juan Trades, we have Active Trader, and all these other amazing live streamers that we bring over to Tradecaster as well. So make sure that you guys are here every single day so you guys can watch them, learn from me, and of course, be able to grow as a trader. That's what it's all about. Being here on this site, on this community, it's not like just a random Discord. We don't just post random alerts and hope for you to follow them. We explain, we teach. We want you to become successful in this game. We want to make sure that you are growing your account and not staying stagnant. We want to make sure you're not following, not being a sheep, but you're trading a side by side with us and also learning how to lead. I want you to be a self-sufficient trader. Hey, awesome job, awesome work. Shout out to all those traders that joined us today, and always so fantastic.